So basically, I just found out. Well, I want to give a trigger warning to those who are dealing with depression or like victims of trauma and abuse. That the reason why certain people are desperate, and I'm putting the camera in his face because I want y'all to see some of the people who've been harassing me. Because my intuition was kind of guiding me to start recording because I'm seeing like patterns of certain people's behavior and they're getting too comfortable. They're getting too comfortable violating my personal space. They're getting too comfortable disrespecting me, and I just felt like maybe if some of y'all were to see what some of them look like, then maybe if it's in your heart to help, I would greatly appreciate it. But okay, so I remember in one of my recent videos that I released, I was basically saying that people who are gang stalking me are desperate, and I was saying that I didn't know why that they were desperate, and the universe had called upon me to find out like the reason why they're desperate, like why are they acting like that, why are they projecting, why are they being so cruel and so nasty and so vicious with their words and their actions, why are they using their body parts to harm me when they know that I'm a victim, why do they keep being so disrespectful. So it's all out of desperation, and I was called to find out why they're so desperate. So I, there's different groups of people that I'm gonna break down why they're desperate, because there's different groups of people and they're desperate for different reasons. So I just wanted to share with you guys what those groups of people are and what their reason are for being desperate. So I'm gonna start off with white people. The reason why white people are going so hard at racially profiling people and home invasions and extracting, adrenochrome from people, like, taking on other, impersonating people of color's identities and stuff like that. The reason why they're doing that is number one, they can't survive in the sunlight for very long. They can't survive in the sunlight for very long. That's number one. The sun will burn them up. The sun will cause them skin cancer and, sometimes lymphomia. It just really depends on their DNA. It depends on, if they have certain ailments that have a negative reaction to the sun. So they can't survive in the sun for very long. So they extract adrenochrome from children of color so that they can survive in the sun. Okay, so that's one reason. Another reason why is because of genetics. Now, I'm not the one to spew out any form of racism for any reason, but if we're talking about the science of genealogy, white people know that because they don't have melanin and because they're not human, they're not meant to be on this planet. They weren't supposed to stay as long as they did, but they overstayed their welcome. Therefore, they're going to have to deal with the UV rays of the sun that the planet naturally attracts. And I don't know if some of y'all have noticed, but it feels like the sun is either getting bigger or closer to the planet, and that's because the vibrations of the planet are rising. Therefore, the Earth has become a magnetic force for the sun, and the bond between the Earth and the sun is getting stronger because the vibrations are raising. The universe is raising the vibrations in the frequencies and waking people up. Okay, and the reason why white people are so desperate is because people are finding out the truth as to who they are, their ancestry, and even white like eugenics. People are finding the truth about eugenics. Okay, so racism, the whole ideology behind racism, is an inferiority complex, because white people are ashamed of their genetics. They're ashamed of their Neanderthal DNA. Some of them are ashamed of their albino origins. Some of them are ashamed of their draconian extraterrestrial origins as well. They're ashamed of them. They know who they are. They know that they're part draconian. They know that they're part Neanderthal, and they know that they're descendants. They know that they're descendants from the African albinos. They know that the mixing of those well, it's the albinos, the Asiatic Cro-Magnons, the Neanderthals, and the draconians that invaded this planet. They know that they have a mixture of those DNAs. And me personally as a scientist, I don't care. Because I have Asiatic DNA, I have Euro ancestry, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna be who I want to be regardless. I don't see where the benefit out of projecting shame onto someone else or tearing somebody down because their genetics are better than mine. It's just like me getting mad at dark-skinned African people because their melanin is stronger than mine. No, I don't care. I mean, and I feel like our African ancestors deserve more respect than this. And white people are aware of this. Therefore, and they have a problem with admitting that not only they're wrong, but they have an issue with saying, you know what? I'm the student of this planet. I'm a guest here. You're the master. You're the teacher. I humbly comply with your principles and your planetary rules. They're not. They a lot of white people. They have too much pride. Too much superiority complex to say, I need your help. How can I be added to the bloodline? Me and my ancestors have made a mistake, and I want to make it right. I'm sorry. A lot of them, they don't have the moral integrity to admit, when they're wrong about something. A lot of them don't. Some of them do. It's really determined on character, because I've dealt with some white people who are ashamed of what their ancestors have done. And the reality of the situation is character determines a person's integrity, not skin color. And it's time to start holding white people. It's time to stand our ground in our land and hold white people accountable for what they do, what they say, and how they treat us. It's time to take a stand and say, you know what, white people? I can't do anything about the fact that my skin color is darker than yours. And I'm not going to apologize to you for it. Yeah, my hair is curly. Yeah, my skin is dark. And when I'm in the sun, it gets ashy and it peels. So fucking what? Get over it. Whatever issue that you have towards people of color, indigenous people, Asian, Indian, Native American, African, Black, it doesn't matter what title we go by. You don't have the right to racially profile us and take away our free will and our dignity because you're insecure about your genetics. You don't have the right to racially profile us because you're desperate. How you handle desperation determines character and integrity. And I, for one, have a deep amount of respect for indigenous and African cultures, to the point to where I'm willing to stand alone and demand respect on behalf of people of color and indigenous people of this planet. So, with that being said, they have the freedom to speak, to call us the N-word, right? They have the free will to harass us and to profile us. Is that correct? Yes, they do. Because the universe is testing all of our character. So they have the free will to violate our boundaries and disrespect us. But we also have the free will to handle it properly or seek revenge. It's all free choice. And the universe has blessed us with that free choice, that free will to make the right or wrong decision. I'm not in a position to judge anyone or look down on anyone, because I used to act the exact same way. And I've taken accountability, because their behavior is a reflection in the mirror to who I used to be, the mistakes that I used to make. I used to be a bully too. I used to do wrong too. I used to hurt innocent people. And now that I see how wrong it is, I can't support that behavior anymore. I'm not self-righteous. I just have empathy for innocent people and children. It's wrong what they did to me. It's wrong what they did to children. It's wrong. And I'm not going to stand for it. But at the end of the day, I just want to let you guys know why they're so desperate. You know, some of them, they're so cruel. They laugh in the faces of rape victims. They laugh in the face of children who've been traumatized by their pedophilic tendencies. They think it's funny. They think it's hilarious to treat people like that. You know, they get off on it. Some of them are sadistic. You know, some of them are narcissists and they feel the need to feel superior to everyone that they come across. Some of them actually have a guilty conscience about what they've done, but they're just trying to hide what they've done. They're trying to hide it. You know, but their character, the way that they speak to me, the way that they speak to victims of childhood abuse says everything that you need to know about their character. And they're desperate because everybody's waking up. Everybody's waking up to their cruelty. Everybody's waking up to the way that they treat people behind closed doors. They can't no longer hide their dark tendencies anymore. Why? Because the reality of it is, when the community comes together and they unify and they decide, you know, I'm not any better than anyone, but I'm tired of this behavior. My moral principles is guiding me to do what's right for the innocent of the children. You know, for justice for people who've been traumatized. You know, it's not about being better than anyone. It's about their moral principles guiding them to do what they feel is right. You know? And so what they decide to do is make reports, hold people accountable. And when you hold people, see, the thing is, when you hold a person accountable and like they like to hurt innocent people, they're bullies, and they have children, the unfortunate part about that is that when they're legally held accountable, they get their children taken away from them. So they don't have as much access to a punching bag as they would like to have. A lot of them, the reason why they're able to hide their dark tendencies is because they make their own children scapegoats to their abuse. So therefore, if they're able to make a child look like a problem child, and they're able to make a child look like a bad seed, then they're able to hide what they've done behind closed doors, and the child ends up inheriting all of the karma, all of the guilt and the shame that their adult handler should be dealing with. My life story is a testimony to how I've had to take on some of the karma of my family members who threw me under the bus and scapegoated me. I've had to take on some of the heat for what they did to me because they were not willing to go get help. I was a child in all this madness, so how can I be responsible for spreading disease? How can I be responsible for human trafficking and I'm just a child? You understand what I mean? How can I be responsible for racism and hatred and racial profiling and all that, and I'm just a child born into all of this? And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that a lot of them, they body shame me when they know what they did to me at just 3 years old. I was just a baby when they raped me. They gang raped me when I was just 3 years old. And they harassed me and they follow me around every day saying, "Your pussy smells like shit. You smell like shit. You a hoe. That's why you selling your pussy out on the street for chump change." And none of that is true. The reason why they're speaking to me so disrespectfully is to project their shame onto me. How can I be a prostitute at just 3 years old? Please tell me the logic behind that. It doesn't make sense. And for someone to gang rape me at just 3 years old and hold that over my head for the rest of my life is inappropriate. And so they violate me in my sleep. They put drugs in my food. They put muscle relaxers in my food. And they force me to sexually engage with them against my free will. And then the next day, they hover over my life, They point fingers at me. They laugh at me. They disrespect me. They block me from being successful.